Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Karen J. Quarles back with another video for you on this lovely day, you guys. So, today's video is going to be called Being Chosen Equals Weird Obedience. And I'm deciding to do these videos and I'm doing them kind of back to back as they come to my mind and God drops stuff like into my spirit because I honestly wish there were certain videos that I was privy to or had access to or knew about in a lot of these different peculiar seasons that I found myself in. Like I did not always have like a point of reference or something that I can look to or someone to look to help me through these like just difficult seasons that I have gone through, which, probably was God's plan all along anyway, so I could depend on him. So I get it. But I also want to be able to offer these like quick little nuggets for people as they may be in sabbatical seasons. You may be in wilderness seasons. You may be feeling lost, stuck, or just uncertain about who you are in this particular season. Um, so I wanted to do this video called Being Chosen Equals Weird Obedience because that's one of the things that, and I laugh just because I think back on all of the different things that I've had to just work through with me and the Lord. But being chosen by itself is just a peculiar place. So let's just start there. And it's one of those things like when you know, like it doesn't even come with much of an explanation a lot of times. Like when you know you are a chosen child of God, you know you are just different. And it didn't start yesterday. It's been this way since you were a young child. Things have just been peculiar for you. Life has not been the same for you as it's been for other people. You've had to go through different things that other people have like no point of reference for, have never even experienced, seen, or just they'll never even know about because they are not you, because you are the one that has been chosen. And oftentimes, chosen individuals find themselves in places, circles, amongst people that maybe are not chosen. So you don't always have a person that you can go to that will understand you and understand like the specific nuances that you will have to go through and the different seasons that you have to rummage through as a chosen child of God. So one of the other reasons I wanted to talk about this is because I think it's really, really important to know that the weird nature of being a chosen child is actually normal. So it's really just helping us to normalize our weird so that we can not get so stuck at the fact that things are just different for us. So one of the things I think about right now is how like being chosen will often come with a lot of questions, but here's what I want you to understand about and why I really, really want to do this video is along with all those different questions, it's going to require one main thing for you to have peace about who you are. And I think a lot of people, they struggle with this whole idea of being chosen simply because they have not done this one thing. And until you do this one specific thing, it's going to hold up everything that God wants to have for your life and operate in you as a vessel for his kingdom to get to the earth. And although it's a multi-layered, multifaceted function to be a chosen child of God, there is one specific prerequisite to make sure that you can be used as this chosen child of God. And this the main thing that I'm talking about so that you can have peace about who you are is acceptance. And the reason why acceptance is so important is because there are many people who know that they're chosen, but they are working very diligently to be normal, regular, and like everyone else because living as a peculiar child of God is not easy. So let me be the first one to say that if nobody ever has said that or you've never heard someone state that, because oftentimes in the church we can sensationalize things and make it sound cute and pretty. And yes, it is absolutely an honor to be called and chosen by God, but it is at the same time not easy. But one of the best ways that I'm able to kind of coach people through and encourage people through this whole idea of being a chosen child of God is understanding that without the acceptance, you are literally going to create a backup or a clog in the pipeline from heaven to earth. That is you. You are that vessel and that pipeline that heaven is using and wants to use, desires to use to ensure that its kingdom agenda gets met in the earth. And you are the person that's going to help carry that out. So we don't want to create a backup in the spirit by not accepting the fact of who we are. I know for me growing up, a lot of times it was just challenging at different moments because things were just different for me. I saw differently, I heard differently, I had very high discernment. And I would often say, hey, I don't want to do certain things that my friends may have wanted to do. They're like, why? It's going to be fun. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go with no. And it didn't always make sense to people. Or if somebody walked into a room, I would be able to tell one of my friends, I would be like, something's not right with her. Like something is off with her. And she's like, what you mean? And I'm like, it's just something's not right about her. And then later we find out like the person was into something crazy, or we find out exactly what it was that I was picking up on prior to actually getting the confirmation. So a lot of different things happen as a chosen child of God. But the biggest thing that we have to do is learn to accept who we are and to be okay with not fitting in with the crowd, because we're actually called to be the complete opposite, to not blend in with the crowd. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to people being chosen, God is calling us to be trailblazers, leaders, and pioneers in our respective lanes and territory that we are assigned to. Because if we blended in with the crowd, then how are we leading anybody? So it makes perfect sense when you actually sit down and think about it. It's just really a thing that requires your acceptance so that you can operate in your function in totality and not in a fragmented manner, so that God can actually use you. So you can be a vessel that does not have leaks and holes that will create more of a resistance in the spirit rather than create a flow that we might get this thing, whatever the thing is that God wants to happen in the earth, to make it happen. So when it comes to being a chosen child of God, it's going to instantly mean that you are called to operate set apart or separate, holy, consecrated. And I know at a younger age, when you hear stuff like that in particular, you're like, what? Like, I just want to go outside and play. I just want to hang with my friends. I just want to do all the normal things. And you'll even find probably, and you probably have found throughout your life, you probably have said things like, I just want to be normal. I just want to be regular. I just want to do this. And really, it's a request to have that mantle removed from you that you don't know that you're making in exchange for a life of less than that will suffocate you in essence, right? Because when God has placed different treasures inside of you, gifts, talent, skills, wisdom, these are all things that he put inside of you in advance to come back and use to get out of you later. And God doesn't want to waste the things that he's placed on the inside of you, because he had a plan for it before you even got here. He knew that he had stuff he needed to happen in the earth through you. So, in order to live this set apart, separate, holy, consecrated life, is going to come with a high level of acceptance, but then just also knowing and really coming to grips with the fact that you won't get to operate and do things like everybody else gets to do them. And until I made that okay in my life, I struggled in my earlier years, because this whole battle for being normal or regular is really just a plea to say, I don't want to have this difficulty where I know if I was not chosen, I would have ease. And it makes perfect sense, right? Like, get it. I get it completely. I'm sure God understands it. But we don't oftentimes carry in our minds on a daily basis the fact that we are here for a purpose. We aren't just here to say, oh, I want to have fun. I want to have friends. I want to go hang out. I want to do this. Like, we literally are here for a divine purpose that God orchestrated long before we got here. Excuse me. So it means that when we are operating in a set apart manner, God is going to oftentimes call us to do, or actually not to do, things that the world may deem to be absolutely crazy. So I really, one of the things I want to stress in this video is the fact that, yes, being chosen is going to require weird obedience. It's going to require that you operate at a high level of acceptance of who you are. It's not just what you're called to do, it's actually a part of who you are. Being a chosen child of God is actually a part of, it's an identity that God has given you. And then being chosen is going to instantly mean that you're going to have to operate set apart, separately, different, holy, consecrated than your friends. So you may be the one that is considered the black sheep in your family, or the one that your friends love you but they know that you're different, right? But the other thing that came to my mind relative to this is knowing that operating set apart will mean that God, He will absolutely call you to do or not to do things that the world will deem to be absolutely crazy. So I want to affirm those people that are out there who feel like sometimes you're going crazy because you feel like you heard God say something that makes completely no sense. Like God says, no, I don't want you to get a job. I need you to trust me. Yes, I need you to quit that job. I need you to trust me. Knowing that you have bills, knowing that you have kids, you have a mortgage, you may have a car to pay for, you have insurance that needs to get paid for, you have all of the things like, God, how am I going to eat if I don't have a job, right? All of those different things that will come to your mind and that you will plead with God about relative to your situation. But what we have to understand is God knew our situation before we even got to the earth and had one. And it's hard for us to wrap our minds around that. God could be a God that says, yeah, I know you're going to need to eat, but I need you to quit your job. Yeah, I know you're going to need to take care of your kids, but no, I don't want you to get a regular job. And He may even say, yes, give that amount of money to that particular person. And it may be an amount greater than anything you've ever given to somebody before. He may instruct you to start that business knowing that you don't have everything that you need at the first step to make it happen. He may tell you to buy that building with everything that you have in your account, right? And it doesn't make sense. Like, God, you want me to empty out my bank account to buy a building for a business that I don't have all the money for? And God is calling us to do those things because He's calling us to trust Him and to have faith in the instruction that He's giving us, knowing that He's going to meet us on the other side with something greater than we could have even imagined. Or it could be something um excuse me. Um, or it could be something like, yeah, I want you to turn back around and go find that homeless person that you spoke to and probably walked past or ignored. I want you to get out. I want you to get that person food. I don't want you to hand them coins. And I want you to hold their hands and pray with them. These are oftentimes the things that a chosen child of God will be called to do, and you have to be willing to obey weirdly. God will tell you to do things that make absolutely no sense. And sometimes we are delayed in obedience, which causes disobedience. And it's truly because we are oftentimes people of intellect, and it has to make complete sense in order for us to believe that it is God. But it is absolutely still God in the moments when it doesn't make sense to us, because God is trying to show you something. He's trying to stretch your faith. He's trying to get you to trust Him. He wants you to believe that what He's sending you to do will not return void. He wants you to be a blessing to people, even when you feel like you need somebody to be a blessing to you. He will call you to do things that make absolutely no sense. But I wanted to come on here to simply tell you that being chosen will absolutely require weird obedience. It's going to seem strange. The life of a chosen child is peculiar all by itself, but I don't want you to think that you are off course because you are hearing things from God that may seem just like a little bit too off to even be real. So I hope this serves as your confirmation and your affirmation for yourself to know that just because it doesn't make sense and it seems crazy doesn't mean that it's not God. A lot of times it's exactly what it means, that it is God. So you don't get to be like everyone else when you know and accept that you are chosen. You being chosen means that you're going to have to obey, and it's going to be weird sometimes. I know this is not like a typical message, but I'm saying this because I wish somebody would have said it to me before I went on this very interesting journey and path that is my life now. And I've come to a large well, not large, let me say like a high level of acceptance around it. So now when God says certain things, I'm like, okay, God, it still sound crazy, but I'm gonna do it because I know it's you. I don't sit in confusion or questioning God like I used to when I was in my younger years. So I just want to hop on and tell you guys that, and just encourage you to say that it's a blessing to be chosen. It absolutely comes with great responsibility. But just be okay with being chosen and being able to obey weirdly, because it's not going to always be cute or normal, but it is going to be God at the end of the day. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Please share it out. I hope that, oh my gosh, y'all. I'm so praying this cold goes away. It's making me hiccup. I'm coughing. I'm stuffy. Ah! Hoping I'll be back on camera very soon. But I hope you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys on my next video.